Aloha. I just wanted to do an example of scientific notation. Someone asked me to maybe help you guys, help explain to you guys a little bit. So let me write a big number up here. Okay, so there's a big number. That's 3,500,000. Here, we'll make it more exciting. $3,500,000. Okay. So if you deal with big numbers, you kind of get tired of writing all these zeros. Let's make it even more exciting. Let's make it add 3 more zeros on there, and now it's $3,500,000. Okay. No, that's wrong. $3,500,000,000. Okay. So you can kind of see all the zeros get a little cumbersome. And you remember from like the first week of class, we talked about how this is the ones place, which comes from the 10 to the 0 power, and this is the tens place, which comes from the 10 to the first, and so on and so forth. So out here, well, we can keep going with the 10 to the second, 10 to the third, 10 to the fourth, 10 to the fifth, 10 to the sixth, 10 to the seventh, 10 to the eighth, 10 to the ninth. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like we talked about earlier, since we use a base 10 number system, then each time we move up a place, that's a power of 10. So what you could do is, it's easier to write this number in what we call scientific notation. Essentially, you just move the decimal point. So here's the decimal point. Okay, I'm going to want to move the decimal point to there. And so in order to do that, we have to move it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times. Okay? And so you could write this number, 3,500,000,000. You can write it in a more compact notation as a 3.5 times 10 to the ninth dollars. That means the same thing. Okay? And so if you get used to I think you can see that this is quicker to write. And it means the same thing. And you can kind of believe it means the same thing because maybe we should write these guys down. So I'm going to write down, so we got million, we got billion, we got trillion. Okay. The next one is
Quadrillion.
Quadrillion, very good. The next one's quadrillion. Doesn't really show up too often. Well, we'll write it down. Doesn't show up in money, right? We don't have any quadrillionaires, I don't think. But it does show up in the computer, actually, so we'll write it down. So a million is when you're out here, and a million is 10 to the sixth, which, I'll write it out here, has 6 zeros. A billion is 10 to the ninth. It has 9 zeros. I'm soon going to get tired of writing these zeros. A trillion is 10 to the 12th. Not going to write those. And a quadrillion, 10 to the 12th. Quadrillion is 10 to the 15th. Okay? So if you're dealing with really large numbers, it's easier to write it as 3.5 times 10 to the ninth than it is to write all those zeros out. Okay? And if we look over here, 10 to the ninth means a billion. So this 3.5 times 10 to the ninth is just kind of a way of saying 3.5 billion. The metric system is also set up nicely for this because it's based on it's based on powers of 10 also. In the metric system, the million we use the word mega for a million. And the symbol is the big M. For billion, it's giga, and the symbol is the big G. For trillion, it's anybody know, you know what it is for trillion? Computers use this now. So a lot of people know these nowadays because
Megabyte.
like a megabyte, which is a million bytes, a gigabyte, which is a billion bytes.
Oh, trigabyte.
Close. Gigabyte. That's Star Trek. Terabyte.
That's a treble.
I'm kidding. I don't even know the quadrillion one. You guys can look that one up. Okay. So, like we could in the metric system, we could conceivably call this guy, 3.5 giga, which is billion dollars. But I don't think I've ever seen that before. I just made that up. So let's do cut.